Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, The Fallen Pages. Today's book is Stealing from the Saracens. It's by Diana Darke. So, when we look at Europe's greatest landmarks like Notre Dame, St. Paul's, the Doge's Palace, we usually tell a tidy story. Europe invented these forms. Europe perfected them over time. Diana Darke's Stealing from the Saracens opens the frame of these historical monuments. Her idea is not to take Europe down, but to show how beauty travels all over the world. As she puts it in the opening, the book has risen from the ashes of the 2019 Notre Dame fire, a moment that made millions ask what this building really stands for and where its language comes from. The writer's core claim is modest but really powerful. The forms we call Gothic today in this time, pointed arches, rib vaults, rose windows, entered Europe through long contact with the Islamic world, especially via Syria, Al-Andalus, Sicily, Venice, and Mediterranean trade routes. It's not theft as in court evidence, it's exchange of art, adaptation, transmission. Even Christopher Wren, England's most famous architect, wrote that what we call Gothic should more rightly be called the Saracen style. The book's structure feels like a well-planned tour. It starts with Wren, the architect, and the idea that styles have biographies, then steps back to the pre-Islamic and Byzantine inheritances of the Middle East, moves through Umayyad Damascus and Cordoba, then into the hubs like Sicily and Venice where ideas jumped borders, and finally arrives at Europe's icon. Then comes the rib vaultings, linked by Darke to the Abbasid and Andalusi precedents that refined how forces were channeled and ceilings lightened, making taller, brighter spaces thinkable. Then comes the rose windows. The rose windows, an old circle given work, Darke connects early Islamic examples and later cathedral roses as variations on the same symbol, cosmic order, rendered in glass. Then comes the towers and the silhouettes. She even sets the lost minaret of Aleppo against London's Elizabeth Tower, Big Ben. Some reviewers find that pairing bold, but everyone agrees ideas and forms crossed the sea. Philosophy sits right under the stonework. Aristotle reaches medieval Europe through translations and commentaries by Ibn Sina and Ibn Rushd. Aquinas then wrestles with them inside the universities that grew out of cathedral schools. The shared method, reason ordered by proportion, rhymes with the shared architecture, measured bays, harmonic ratios, and light used as argument. That's why Darke keeps returning to the Mediterranean, not as a wall but a connector like a bridge. Or in her words, no society exists in isolation and everything is interconnected. Across the Abrahamic traditions, poetry and prayer lean on the same metaphors. The Psalms call the Lord my light. The Gospel of John opens with light that shines in the darkness. Sufi poets sing of a single light refracted through many lamps. Christian mystics like Saint John of the Cross speak of a living flame. Different scriptures, some toolkit, light, mirror, lamp, window, made material through arches, muqarnas, and roses. Darke even reaches for a line from John Donne, "No man is an island," to remind us that cultural borders are porous and human. The writer is careful with the word stealing. In the introduction, she explains the title's double irony. I'm going to share with you the contents of the book. I'm going to show it to you first. So it starts with Christopher Wren, the arch synthesizer, Gothic architecture, the Saracen style, the pre-Islamic inheritance, pagan and early Christian architecture in Syria. The first Islamic empire, the Umayyads in Syria, Andalusia, the Umayyads in Spain, the Abbasid and the Fatimid caliphates, gateways to Europe, the Seljuks, the Ottomans, and the Sinan, the revivals, Neo-Gothic, Neo-Saracenic, Neo-Moorish, iconic buildings of Europe, a gallery of images with key influences. Then comes the conclusion. So it also has images of the famous monuments in which the writer compares the architecture. This is Christopher Wren's image that she has used, and it comes with different pictures of the famous monuments, the architecture blueprints also. The book is in great detail when it comes. It's basically a research research paper, and it talks in great detail. It talks about the Moorish art, the Seljuks. It shares their miniature paintings, the paintings that are used in the cathedrals, the churches, the synagogues. So it talks about the art which was borrowed from Syria and the Umayyads. It says that the Great Mosque of Damascus and Umayyad palaces reveal early programs of light reveal, vegetal abstract mosaics, and the spatial clarity. As a late antique Byzantine Islamic hinge zone, Syria exemplifies continuity plus innovation. Classical techniques are recorded within Islamic theology, and court aesthetics generating forms Europe could later see, study, or inherit indirectly. And then it talks about Andalus, the mosque cathedral of Cordoba, double-tiered arches, rhythmic polychromy, and the Alhambra, muqarnas, and water architectures serve as a compendium of craft. Knowledge traveled with artisans, glassmakers, mathematicians, and translated texts. And Christian Iberia's absorption of Andalus workshops and tastes provided northward vectors. Then comes Sicily and Venice. Norman Sicily, for example, Palatine Chapel, visibly stages Arabic carpentry and inscriptions with Latin rite and Byzantine mosaics. Venice, mercantile hinge, accumulates spolia and ornamental logics from the eastern Mediterranean. These sites offer the clearest, least controversial examples of hybridization. And Seljuks, Ottomans, and Sinan. Seljuk portals and Ottoman dome systems, culminating in Minbar Sinan mosques, refined strategies for spanning space with clarity, while Gothic and Ottoman domical systems diverge structurally. The comparative study underscores convergent priorities, legitimacy of structure, balanced thrust, and a luminous interior atmosphere. So stealing from the Saracens, this book successfully reframes Europe's architectural genealogy from a narrative of exceptional isolation to one of the contact, curation, and reassembly. Not every proposed lineage will convince every specialist. Some analogies are suggestive and rather than demonstrative. Yet the central claim that Europe's signature medieval forms were shaped by sustained two-way engagements with Islamic culture and traditions and their art is methodologically plausible, empirically supported in key corridors, and interpretatively fertile. Replacing regions with relations does not diminish Europe's monuments. It locates their brilliance in a bigger, truer story of shared craftsmanships and ideas. So this is basically the analysis of the book that I could convey to you guys, because this book has a lot of history, a lot of art, a lot of research being done. So if you read it yourself, you would really enjoy it. I can't put put everything about this book in just one video. If you guys want a detailed analysis of the book, I can also do that. Just leave that in the comments below. But for now, I just don't want to spoil it for you guys, because this book has a lot of research, and I would really like if you guys read it and tell me about this book yourself. So just do let me know. And I guess this is it, guys. See you in the next video.